Well, a new report says China is using American social media platforms to try and counter reports of its persecution of ethnic minority Uyghurs. This comes as the Hong Kong pro-democracy newspaper, the Apple Daily, which, you know, had been highly critical of Beijing. Well, that paper is shutting down after China froze its assets, seized its journalists' computers, and arrested executives and its owner, Jimmy Lai. He is among the most prominent people who have been charged under China's recent national security law that stifles dissent in Hong Kong. The explosive report says in part, quote, thousands of videos of Uyghurs denying abuses against their community are showing up on Twitter and YouTube. They're part of an elaborate influence campaign by Chinese officials to counter reports of human rights violations in Xinjiang. Rebecca Grant joins us, national security military analyst, president of IRIS Independent Research. So, Rebecca, I mean, China seems to be getting worse, cracking down on dissent, punishing critics, arresting them, and now trying to influence us, Americans, that, you know, hey, it's not that bad, especially in its treatment with the Uyghurs. How dangerous, how insidious is this?
Very dangerous, very insidious. And really, this is sort of a new turn in the China threat, because now China just doesn't care about world opinion. They passed the new national security law in Hong Kong last summer, but with what they've done now with not allowing the Tiananmen Square remembrance in early June, and now the crackdown against the last free newspaper, it just shows you that they no longer care about world opinion at all. And Xi Jinping is determined to crack down on any sources of dissent and then take it that one step further and spread propaganda through social media.
And what is the result of Beijing not caring? I mean, you would think at least that was something that would be some international community guardrails against their egregious behavior. But if that's thrown out the window, they're basically doing whatever they want.
Right. They can do whatever they want. And it tells us a couple important things. It tells us that China is not going to be real interested in major international agreements. If they won't even allow a free press in Hong Kong, then how can we expect them to live up to climate agreements or arms control? So it really is bad from the standpoint of looking at agreements that we might want with them over the next few years. Probably not going to happen. The second thing, it tells me that Xi Jinping, China's president, is becoming more and more like Mao Zedong, the revolutionary leader who cracked down so hard on China and turned it inward. And we see Xi Jinping starting to do that inward turn with China. Very dangerous sign.
You know, the Biden administration and the president talking about the rules-based order in the international community. But when you have, you know, Beijing that doesn't pay any attention to the rules, how do we counter that? Is it possible to counter that? The Secretary of State Pompeo was very strong, calling the treatment of the Uyghurs a genocide. Has that continued under the Biden administration? And what should the administration do to try and rein China in, if that is even possible anymore?
Yes, that policy has continued. So Secretary Pompeo was very strong on it, like you said, and Secretary of State Anthony Blinken has actually said, yes, Pompeo was right. What's happening in China to the Uyghurs is a genocide. About 1 million Uyghurs have been arrested out of the total population of about 11 million there in Xinjiang province over the last few years. There are reports all over about forced labor and so on. The good sign is that we see Britain, Canada, Holland, Australia, and of course the U.S. putting out a declaration that this is a genocide. But we need more international support, and we need that to carry over into real consequences for China within our trade policy. And of course, we need to see more UN and international support for the protectorate of Hong Kong as well.
Yeah, don't hold your breath on the UN, the Security Council. Certainly China's on the security. Don't hold your breath on that one. I know from covering the UN. You did mention trade, and the Department of Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas discussed that. Here's what he says about potentially what we can do in terms of the slave labor and the products there. Let's listen.
Since 2016, CBP has issued more than 30 withhold release orders, including a record-breaking 13 in fiscal year 2020. This fiscal year, CBP has issued 4 withhold release orders on goods from China, including one on all cotton products and tomato products from the Xinjiang region. The United States will not tolerate modern-day slavery in our supply chains.
So he talks about modern-day slavery. How can we, as Americans, is there anything that we can do? You go to the store. How do we know if something is manufactured, especially cotton, by the Uyghurs? And can America boycott them? What can we do to try and help them?
Yes, he's right. It is slavery. Xinjiang produces a lot of China's cotton. It's about 20% of world cotton. Cotton's a widely traded commodity, but this is a good first step. We need to ban that cotton, and you need to question your suppliers. Where is it coming from? Is it what they call fair trade cotton that can be traced through the supply chain? And that's new for us to have to ask those questions. But that's what all of us Americans need to start to do, is to ask our retailers, hey, where's this stuff come from? I don't want China slave cotton in my store.
Yeah, you don't want that in your home. You want to support these people, and it's the way to try and get to Beijing's pocketbook. Rebecca Grant, president of IRIS Independent Research Analyst. Rebecca, good to see you. Thank you.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.